Are studying the ransomware cyber infection. Ransomware is a computer virus that installs discreetly on victim's device, holding his data hostage until ransom, which is usually in cryptocurrency, is paid. It is cyber kidnapping. On Saturday, a source in the government told the Cable that the situation was being studied and Nigeria is vulnerable to cyber attacks. But the Minister of Communication, Adebayo disclosed that the country lost over $450 million to cyber attacks in 2015. It said Nigeria witnessed 3,500 of such attacks in that year alone. How much has been lost to this weekend of scandal? Well, for companies and organizations, an attack by attackers can inflict financial losses, corporate embarrassment, and legal action. Well, it's a disturbing trending issue, and joining me to analyze the situation is ICT expert. Joining me from Houston, Texas, Modupe Ajibola. Many thanks for your time, Modupe. Modupe is joining me via Skype. Yes, cyber risk has become a boardroom issue over the past years. Following some high-profile hacker attacks, criminals increasingly shifted from going after individual consumers to attacking vulnerable organizations and businesses. And of course, a ransom of $300, or rather the equivalent in Bitcoin, has been asked. Now, let's look at Bitcoin itself. Of course, we know they couldn't have asked that they pay in cash. Can't the government do something about that mode of payment?
Well, you know, this has been something that has been an affliction for government across the world, how to deal with the Bitcoin concept in and of itself. It's a very useful tool if you think about how the banks themselves are becoming legacy in the way of dealing with transactions. So Bitcoin is actually a very quick, rapid way of selling digital products. So Bitcoin in and of itself is not the demon here. It's not the bad news here. It's just how to track where the money is going. And government is getting better, but they're not quite there in how to make that happen. Normally you could track it based on the withdrawal, who is withdrawing money. But folks leave their currency in this Bitcoin market for so many years. So by the time they withdraw it, you may not be able to associate the crime to the withdrawal. So it's above my pay grade how that problem will be solved. But I do know that it's something in the forefront of everybody's mind on how to deal with it. And this type of crisis even makes it more urgent to address.
I know that cyber insurance is not fully embraced in this part of the climb, but I know that it seems to be a key growth area at the moment. A new breed of coverage couldn't come at a better time for insurers at this time. Now, let's play the devil's advocate in this area. Do you think that cyber insurance could be the ones actually, let me use the word, pouring this into the system?
I guess the point you're making is that the
infecting the system.
Yeah, is the guy fixing the tire, the one putting the nail in the road, right? So,
yeah.
So I understand. I understand what you're going after, and it could be nobody can tell. But I will tell you though, I appreciate the opinion of the previous gentleman, and I think it's dead on. However, I think there's no way to release your files from these folks unless you pay the ransom. I can tell you that much. So if you don't have files that you need, don't pay them, because government doesn't know how to decrypt their algorithm. So once you're infected, there's no way to fix the infection other than to decrypt it. And these folks will release your file once you pay the ransom. So some people can afford to lose those files, some people may not. That's that. The other issue is this. Like I said, there's these companies that you can look at. Example, NSS Labs. I've done work with them. I actually was a development manager for this company years back. And what they do is they actually run algorithm through all your systems to determine which one is vulnerable to these types of attack. They find out what malwares are out there and they run, and based on that, they recommend to you what kind of malware defense mechanism you need on your systems. I think our government in Nigeria and other parts of the world, rather, need to subscribe to this. Big companies are subscribing to these types of preventive measures. It's the only way around it.
But I know that one thing we should be, or ICT experts should be looking at, is going a step ahead of these hackers. Because what we see most of the time is that they are one step ahead of you experts. So in your case as experts, what should we be doing aside updating?
the vulnerability protection. You have to look at what applications you're running. Like I said, it's not just a Microsoft issue. If you use Microsoft Word, if you use some software, a lot of different softwares you use on your computer could be vulnerable to introducing these malwares into your system. So all you need is to use the softwares to detect what you're vulnerable towards and then protect yourself. But I think other than that, there's really nothing you can do to protect yourself. And government can actually protect systems, right? Government can actually have a gateway of a protection gateway between users and these malwares. But this requires investment that folks would not take seriously until these kinds of things happen to them, unfortunately. And I hope we don't have it happen before we take this precaution.